Just gonna tell you how I upgraded this Nikko Dodge Viper from 2001 to hobby grade stuff. So this is my nice kind of unorganized full-time workbench. So that's just how it always is. So I have hobby grade RCs and I have toy grades and stuff like that. So first thing, this Nikko Dodge Viper, the windows are there, so it's all complete, getting ready for paint because it's all, someone painted it, it's all scratched up and stuff like that. But first thing, it did not have a remote. It had its little board. I tried some of my old remotes and it didn't work. And then the little tiny motor that used to be in here, someone took the spur gear out. There was still a shaft there, so there was a missing gear that the little motor ran on, which then made the axle gear go. So I'm like, oh boy. So this is a PX Toys 380 motor that I put in there. And then this pinion gear that matches this axle gear is a XLH or a Zinglehong truck. So basically, here's a PX Toys 1/18. That's the motor I used because this XLH old truck, the 390s are too long, so it would have been hitting the wheel. So I had the XLH burnt out 390 motor, and I just used a gear puller, took off the pinion, and then I pressed it onto this 380 motor. And then there really wasn't a way to put in aluminum motor mounts, so I used automotive, really good gasket maker, and I put it all down in the tray, and then I set the motor right where it had to be and just left just so that it had not too much pressure on these two gears, and I let it dry for a while, and then I added some more and then drilled a hole to put a zip tie on after it was dry the next morning. And that's just a safety thing to help make sure the motor really does stay down good in all this gasket maker. So that works great. It's super fast with that. Now, normally I use these little 30 amp pouch ESCs for toy grade, but because this is more direct drive and it's really high speed on how fast these wheels are going, I used a regular, like a 1/10 hobby ESC. This one's a New Rain or something like these. Work pretty good too. They're cheap. What are they, like $9, $8, and they work pretty good. So then I put a little mini servo in here, and I either use double-sided tape to hold the servo in there and then maybe drill some holes and a zip tie around it, or hot glue will hold the servo in there, because then if the servo ever dies, just take a hair dryer, warm up the hot glue, and you can take it back out. And then I use a good super glue, this Mighty Bond. It's kind of a gel super glue, so it's not so runny. And I attach the existing or the original servo horn from this car. I glue it onto the little servo horn that comes with the servo. And I can show you on this Yamaha if we can see the black part moving. But I did the same thing. I took the toy grade servo horn and I glued it to the one that came with this little Surpass Hobby 3-wire servo, and that always works good. I'm not bashing these at a skate park or anything, so far that has held up. So I've done all the tests on this already. Concrete basketball court and in the house, and it's doing fine. And then I had trimmed out all these little separators for those AA batteries that used to use, so I also, from the bottom, I can put in the receiver and take it out if I want to put it in another car, and then the battery fits down in there real good, because like some of these little 2S lipos are about the same thickness as a AA battery. You just got to trim out all those little slots. So that's how that works. So it looks pretty original on the bottom, and it hides a 2S lipo, and that really gives it a little more power because a lot of these ran like 6 volt and stuff. So here you got 7.4. And then I've got a Dumbo RC remote controlling it. So that's pretty much how I built it. It's held up. I've tested it quite a bit. So for the rest of the video, you'll see all the run part of it. So hopefully you guys can subscribe, and we'll keep doing these little projects and just kind of give you some ideas on what you can do. So thanks a lot.